I'm Tadd Mullinix, and I'm a recording artist in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was always into music, always in bands, always played an instrument. I was in a speed metal band in middle school called Aneurysm. And then indie rock bands in high school. That's when I discovered raves and skate culture, and I started skating and hanging out with punks. My friends in high school were listening to various electronic music artists like the Belleville III, and so we started going to raves, and I was hearing a lot of really important music and going into record shops and trying to find the things that I was hearing. I bought a drum machine and started making techno music and playing at coffee houses and galleries. So I started cutting my teeth on the sound that way. As I'm collecting records, I'm looking for record shops, and I find out about these record stores in Ann Arbor, so I would drive out here and discover just what a cultural asset Ann Arbor was. At that time, I was living in Troy, which is north of Detroit. Out there, it's just a lot of strip malls and suburbs. So I discovered just how much I really liked the environment of Ann Arbor. I was looking for a job, and Todd Osborne took me in. Todd's shop, Dubplate, merged with School Kids in Exile, and then later Doug Hume, who did photography for Ghostly, took me into Encore Recordings, and in those shops I learned so much about music. It was a priceless education. Encore, too, because Peter Dale, the owner, was buying all kinds of music. It wasn't really curated in a way that like an electronic music record store would be. My coworker was Aaron Dillaway. He was in Wolf Eyes at the time. Was working with Ben Bracken, Wade Kurgan, Elliot Bergman. All these guys were musicians who worked at Encore Recordings, and I wouldn't be exposed to their stories and their interests had it not been for Peter Dale, who let us sort of manage ourselves and was very flexible when it came time to tour. So a lot of us were kind of coming and going, but had security, and I think all of us always needed that. I was collecting records, and I remember seeing Ghostly's 12-inch on the wall, Put Your Hands Up for Detroit. This was on the wall at Record Time in Roseville. It was in the Deep House section, and I heard it was, like a local record. So I remembered that record on the wall when I was working with Todd Osborne and Carlos at SKR. I think Sam introduced himself, came in, introduced himself. He heard that I made techno or dance music or something and was wondering if he could hear something that I had made. And I happened to have a cassette on me in my car. I told Sam, wait. I ran out to my car and came back and gave him the tape and said, there's all kinds of stuff on there. It's all me, but it's all different types of music. He said, yeah, I want to release all this. And I had to think about how to package it all, if I wanted to put it all under one name or not. So I created different aliases, and it was the beginning of a long relationship. This is the Ghostly Krew, early shot of the Ghostly Krew. We're in Real Detroit, local paper. This is Ann Arbor News, same shot as that other one. These are a lot of the major records on Ghostly and Spectral. This is Detroit Free Press. This was one of the first DEMF press shots. This is the first, my first album, the first full-length album on Ghostly, and the second under that alias, my birth name. This was the beginning of the label. After 1-3 came out, the first Dabrye album, I played at Movement Festival, or at that time it was DEMF. I had played there before with my tower and big monitor and everything, and I think that someone took a picture and it actually became a meme. Check this out, this is how long the festival's going on, or I can't even remember what the meme is, but it's really ridiculous. It's an archaic scene. The first album got a lot of exposure, ended up being on the cover of magazines and stuff, and eventually working with my idol Jay Dilla, then MF Doom, and all kinds of really incredible local talent for the second album. Sam started organizing tours, went around the States and eventually the world with other Ghostly guys. It's really great to have that, that presence and that support from Ghostly. All of the ambition that was going on in Ann Arbor, all the young artists sort of self-releasing, doing really weird things with album art. These are bizarre styles of music that I would have never discovered, and totally informs the Bopside catalog. I created Bopside because I wanted to have total control. And as a visual artist, I thought, you know, I wouldn't have to pay anyone to do the artwork, so let me just have a go at it and just do whatever I want, absolutely whatever. Prior to establishing the label, I had a lot of different projects on a lot of different record labels. This was the middle of the aughts, and visibility was a problem. Like, you would think that you kind of get your tentacles everywhere and all the little scenes will become hip to you, but you don't make like a really solid statement that way. You can't make a universe that people can get lost in. So I thought, this is something I want to do, and Bopside was the way to do it. I really appreciate the fringe cultures, and Ann Arbor has that. Ann Arbor always represented an oasis to me. I saw it as a cultural center. To me, it always felt like a retreat. Later on, I moved here, and I soon discovered that there was a rich musical history here. I didn't realize that MC5 and Iggy Pop was from the area. I didn't realize that there were music festivals, jazz festivals, where you would find like Sun Ra and James Brown on the same bill. If you talk about Mike Kelly and his history, Once Festival, Ann Arbor Film Festival, all these sort of experimental and art explorations are essential to art culture in the area and abroad. There is a lot of digging going on and a lot of history to unearth and discover. It's been priceless, like incredible education.